Get the soldiers packed.
What's up, Vault Dwellers? Dan here. And guess what? This is the 5th video in the animated series, and it's an all-viewer requested countdown, which means you've officially broken me. When I asked for sci-fi and fantasy and cult animated films that push boundaries, you delivered a list featuring everything from cyborg bounty hunters to rotoscoped kangaroos, even a Jim Henson puppet movie that's not even animated. But you know what? That's exactly why I love this channel. These 10 films, they didn't play by the rules, and apparently, neither did you. They took animation places it have never been before. You know, photoreal CGI disasters, adult-oriented satire, and some Australian wildlife trauma. So let's count down your picks and see what happens when animators stop playing it safe and start playing with fire.
Horrible.
You're a bad rat.
You noticed. Now, my gallant foragers, happy? Content?
We love you, Manny.
A warm welcome for the new members of our little...
We're getting started with The Mouse and His Child, which arrived in 1977, just in time to teach children about mortality, capitalism, and a crushing weight of existence. You know, standard G-rated fare. So a wind-up toy father and son, they get tossed in the trash and spend the entire runtime trying to become self-winding, which is either a beautiful metaphor for independence or the saddest Toy Story pitch that Disney wisely rejected. Peter Ustinov, he voices a tyrannical rat who runs a junkyard empire, and he's so menacing, you forget you're watching toys and just start to actually fear for their safety.
I have my plans. An empire built on these. The sharpest teeth in the dump. One day, it will all be mine.
And what will you...
The animation, it's a bit rough, an unsettling quality that matches the existential dread perfectly. It bombed because parents, they expected cute and got sadism with whiskers instead. But it gained a cult following among viewers whose childhoods needed more trauma, apparently. Points for treating kids like they could handle complex themes, even if those themes involved toy genocide.
It worked. It worked. For the first time in my life, it worked. I saw the future. I spoke the truth. How strange it feels to speak the truth. How odd. How delicious.
He's done it! Bolt Jenkins has done it! A new world record! Just look at the expression on that boy's face.
Animalympics was supposed to be 2 NBC specials for the 1980s Olympics until the US boycotted Moscow, and the network just went, never mind. So it became a theatrical release instead, following anthropomorphic athletes in the most elaborate sports anime that nobody asked for, but I think everyone needed. You've got René Fromage, he's a French goat ski champion who's definitely compensating for something. And a romance between marathon runners that's somehow more emotionally resonant than most human sports films. Director Steven Lisberger made this before Tron, and you can kind of see that same let's push boundaries energy. The animation is fluid and dynamic, with Gilda Radner voicing multiple characters with that manic Saturday Night Live brilliance.
I'm standing in front of the slalom course with former all-Scandinavian ski champion and now film star Bjorn Freeborg. Bjorn is starring in Cries and Whinnies.
It's sports storytelling that actually works, making you care about a turtle-penguin romance without feeling ridiculous. The film's crime, it's being forgotten due to weird release timing. But it proved you could make adult animation without the shock value. Just solid characters and earnest storytelling. It's a revolutionary concept, apparently.
He plants his foot. He's up and... Uh-oh. He's got big trouble. It could be back to the pond for this great champion.
Dad! Dad!
Toby! I can't open it! I can't open it!
Stop it! Dad, help!
Toby!
Dad!
It's going to be okay, Toby. I'm going to get you out.
Astro Boy landed in 2009 with Nicolas Cage, Donald Sutherland, and dreams of cracking the Western animation market. So the story goes like this. A kid dies, gets rebuilt as a nuclear-powered robot, and then just gets rejected by his dad and exiled.
But he isn't my son.
Dad!
I'm not your dad. You're not Toby. You're a copy of Toby.
It's Pinocchio meets daddy issues meets geopolitical allegory. And somehow, it all works way better than the box office suggests. This story stays surprisingly faithful to Osamu Tezuka's themes about technology and warfare while delivering enough robot punching to keep kids entertained. So here's the thing. This film is way better than its catastrophic failure implies. Imagine Animation Studios poured real craft into this, with gorgeous retro futuristic design and the emotional beats that just actually land. So why does it bomb hard enough to kill the studio? Because American audiences in 2009, they weren't ready for robot boy abandonment issues. Watch this Divorce from Expectations though, and you'll find smart sci-fi that respects its source material. It totally deserved better, but isn't that the theme of this entire countdown?
Bring out the little stinker!
Will you play with us?
Us?
Yes, us.
Battle Angel Alita dropped in '93 like a cyborg fist through titanium, giving us 2 episodes of just pure cyberpunk perfection. Alita wakes up in a scrapyard and she's got amnesia, and then discovers she's a combat monster and proceeds to fight her way through dystopian class warfare while questioning what even makes someone human. It's got neon-soaked streets, brutal gladiator fights, and a philosophy wrapped in ultraviolence. Basically everything anime does best when it's firing on all cylinders. This is easily a masterclass in adaptation, condensing sprawling manga into something just coherent and devastating. The animation from that house and Production IG is just stunning. It's that fluid action that makes every fight feel kinetic and earned. What elevates us, though, it's the emotional core of it all. Alita's journey is to discover her identity while everyone treats cyborgs as disposable. Hits just harder than it should. The romance with Hugo, breathtaking, and the ending will leave you desperate for more. And this has influenced everything from like Matrix to Ghost in the Shell. I mean, it took 26 years to get a live-action version, and if you haven't seen it, it's jaw-dropping. But this OVA remained definitive. 2 episodes that changed cyberpunk animation forever.
Help me! I can't stand! Help!
Oh, did you have to do that? You'll soon be dead yourself, son, if you walk away with the job half done. I think you and I should have a little...
place and try to squash his long-legged black ass. But Malcolm, he was cool. Night after night, Malcolm remains cool.
Coonskin exploded in 1975 and immediately became Ralph Bakshi's most controversial film, which, considering his filmography, that's saying quite a bit. It reimagines Uncle Remus tales through blaxploitation, mixing animation styles with some live action, while satirizing racism by weaponizing racist imagery. The Congress of Racial Equity, it protested this before it even was released, and distribution was pulled, and it vanished for decades. This is a legendary forbidden film that few have actually ever seen. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Coonskin uses offensive imagery to satirize offense, and whether that works depends entirely on who's watching and when.
Herbert thinks you dance terrifically, but...
Yes, you dance terrifically.
He's too embarrassed. Well, the funny thing is that we've always talked about having black people.
Yes, it's very nice to have...
But now that you're really here and everything, it's just
club.
incredible, isn't it?
Bakshi claimed he was attacking stereotypes by exaggerating them, working with black writers and animators. Does it succeed? People have argued this for 50 years. What's undeniable is the technical ambition of it all. With wild animation, incredible voice work from Barry White and Scatman Crothers, and Bakshi using animation for social commentary. Even Tarantino and Spike Lee praised this movie, with Lee calling it way ahead of its time. Essential viewing for animation history, but this comes with a massive asterisk. Not every boundary should be pushed, but Coonskin definitely pushed several, while setting others completely on fire.
A contract? Oh, I love contracts. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, they're so messy and exciting. Oh, I want to do it. Oh, let me do it, Sonny. Please let me do it. Let me shoot the rabbit right between the... Shut up, Jadul!
One of the tough things, though, about being a kid up there.
And you better hide very soon, or the bunyip's going to get you.
Dot and the Kangaroo arrives in Australia back in 1977, just in time to traumatize children with rotoscoped wildlife. 5-year-old Dot, she gets lost in the outback, eats magical berries from a kangaroo, and then spends the runtime talking to animals while live-action footage of very real, very dangerous Australian fauna remind you, nature, it really doesn't care about your survival.
You're heavy. You must put me down. You'll be killed. No, never again. I'll never leave a child alone again. I'm going to jump.
It's part environmental PSA and part sustained anxiety attack. This became such a hit in Australia that it actually spawned 8 sequels, making the director the Aussie Walt Disney. The environmental message, it's a bit heavy-handed, but sincere, with songs about protecting wildlife that would make Captain Planet proud. It's kind of weird by American standards, educational without apology, and just deeply sincere in ways modern films try to avoid. Also though, let's shout out to Barbara Frawley voicing Dot with sweet innocence while surrounded by animals that could just absolutely end her.
Can we stay a little longer, please? I've never seen a corroboree before. They're dancing. You know I love dancing.
All right, but not too long. See those dingoes down there? If they find...
I know, The Dark Crystal, it's puppetry, it's not animation, but you viewers requested it, and who am I to deny democracy? Anyways, Jim Henson and Frank Oz's 1982 dark fantasy, it follows a gelfling who's healing a crystal to stop evil Skeksis before the Great Conjunction. Oh, that was a mouthful. There's 0 human actors, all practical puppetry, and enough nightmare fuel to traumatize kids expecting Muppets and getting Game of Thrones with felt instead. Henson and Oz created just an entire alien world with its own language and mythology, bring it to life just with puppetry. These aren't simple hand puppets, by the way. They're complex mechanisms requiring multiple puppeteers coordinating in real time. This thing bombed initially for being just too dark for kids and way too weird for adults. But then it became this beloved cult classic that influenced everything from like The Labyrinth to The Lord of the Rings. So yeah, it may be puppetry, but it pushed boundaries in fantasy filmmaking. Animated films were too scared to touch, and this thing like traumatized half of my Gen X generation when we were kids. And that's why we love it.
That's what my master meant.
Yes.
I have to put
You
it...
have to heal the dark crystal.
Prophecy!
Jen!
Stay! No, stay! Stay, M friend!
The missing link crashed into 1980s cams like a meteor made of prehistoric inappropriateness. This is called BC rock in America as well, and it follows a caveman who was rejected for being too smart as he journeys through like 200,000 BC, encountering dinosaurs and more creative uses of anatomy than you thought possible in animation. This one is raunchy and crude and operates on the philosophy that if one joke is funny, well then 500 must be friggin' hilarious. What makes this interesting beyond shock value? It's the timing. Late 70s, early 80s adult animation experimentation. Studios were figuring out what animation could go beyond kids' entertainment. And the missing link, it went all in. The director was creating satire about modern relationships using prehistoric settings. It's just buried under a lot of crude humor. The film has this like weird charm despite itself. You know, creative creature design and inventive visual gags. I mean, this is not for everyone. I mean, actually, it's really not for most people. But it represents animation pushing boundaries in just every direction, trying to find its identity. Some experiments create masterpieces, others create this. Both can be educational.
After you. After me. After me. Begging your pardon, fellas, but this little guy is a
Hey, man, it couldn't be. Hey, man, you in a bag.
Hey, Duke, is it really you?
The 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat limped in 1974 as a sequel nobody wanted. Neither Ralph Bakshi nor Robert Crumb even touched this thing. It was from director Robert Taylor and producer Steve Krantz. They made this as a cash grab. Fritz is now a burned-out welfare recipient escaping domestic misery through drug-fueled fantasies of alternate lives. Like an astronaut, he was also a Nazi, and even Kissinger's aide. It's desperately trying to recapture the original's counterculture edge while missing just everything that made it work. That said, dismissing it entirely isn't fair. The animation is solid. I mean, some segments show real creativity, and the funk soundtrack totally captures 70s vibes perfectly. The problem is, it has nothing to say beyond, society is a bummer, man. Bakshi's original was transgressive and angry. This thing, it's tired and cynical, kind of without purpose. It's fascinating as a study in how sequels can sometimes just totally miss the mark, and as a time capsule of adult animation, trying to figure itself out. It's not good, but it's not unwatchable. The perfect, interesting failure middle ground for understanding animation history. Bakshi refuses to acknowledge its existence, and honestly, that might be the most punk rock thing about it. Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within materialized in 2001 like a transmission from the future, and Square Pictures $137 million attempt at photorealistic CGI immediately became the most important failure in cinema history. Earth 2065, it's overrun by alien phantoms, and scientist Dr. Ross is racing to find a spiritual solution, while the military, it just wants to nuke everything.
You think this 8 spirit stuff is really gonna work against the Phantoms? I mean, what if it's all a bunch of mumbo-jumbo? Ow!
This is a feature-length cutscene with like A-list voices, and I'm talking Alec Baldwin, James Woods, Steve Buscemi, and while it struck out commercially, like losing $94 million, and it ended the studio's film ambitions, it changed everything. The technical achievements are just staggering. Audiences in 2001, they just weren't ready for humans that looked almost real, but not quite. You know, the uncanny valley effect. Critics found it just too philosophical and just too disconnected from the games. But here's the truth. This film is really good. But more importantly, like every Pixar film, every motion capture performance, every photorealistic CGI character you see now owes something to Final Fantasy's failure. Square pushed animation technology forward by years, proving photorealistic animation was possible even if audiences weren't ready for it. It's the ultimate cult film, you know, rejected by the mainstream, beloved by historians, and more influential than box office suggests. And that's why it's number 1. Not because it's perfect, but because it dared to imagine what animation could become. These films prove the greatest innovation comes from the creators who are willing to risk just everything. Most failed commercially, but all influenced what came after. They showed animation could be dark, adult, philosophical, and just anything except limited. And if you want a part 6, throw down those suggestions in the comments, because animation history, it's way weirder and more wonderful than you even remember. Oh, by the way, keep it weird, folks.
Shotsky moves the ball. It's considerable bump down court. Stolen by Meadow Organ.